Hello, Mojo. And today, taking these off. And today we are watching. These cave divers had the most gruesome end. Okay, this didn't come out of nowhere. Hold on. I was folding clothes, minding my business. When I needed something to keep my attention while I was, doing my due diligence, getting my house in order. So I clicked it. And I judged. They weren't wearing the right equipment. They never do. Apparently, they didn't. And I was judging. I was looking accordingly. Made sure they knew that I knew. That's not how you're supposed to do it. And then I looked back over, and this girl is in the shape of an L. A full L. Now, I'm not gonna let y'all know if she gets out or not, because I shut the video off. So I couldn't give you the information if I wanted to. I don't know y'all. But I want to watch more. And so y'all are gonna do it with me. This is something different. It's not gaming. We gonna watch something. Mojo watch or something like that. I don't know what we're gonna call it. We gonna do this stuff. Y'all strap in. A good little 20 minutes. We got a little 20 minutes ahead of us. Just watching people do what they're not supposed to do. Or do what they want to do. You can't really judge people. But you can. You should.
Today, we will be looking at two horrifying stories that went horribly wrong. The first one takes us to the treacherous waters off Bali, where 7 women on a holiday dive were caught in nature's trap and dragged into the open ocean with only their survival instincts to keep them alive. While the second story follows a climber who descended into a mine shaft to save his dog, but instead walked into an invisible atmospheric killer death trap. As always, viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. Okay.
July 15th, 1995. The morning sun beat down on the Florida landscape as 2 experienced cave divers prepared for what should have been a routine technical dive into Thunderhole Cave. Robert McGuirre and Del Motes had planned this dive meticulously over the previous weeks, studying maps of the underwater cave system and calculating their gas requirements with precision. The dive plan called for mixed gas diving, a sophisticated technique that uses different nitrogen and oxygen mixtures at various depths.
See, mixing, that's the part that gets me. The fact that you have to mix your own stuff. You have to mix your own stuff to get down in this water. I don't harp on these people. It's just, you have to have some level of intelligence to do this and do it correctly. You could do paintball. Paintballing is...
To extend bottom time and reduce decompression requirements, 2 separate breathing mixtures had been prepared with laboratory precision. A standard nitrox blend for the deeper portions of the dive and a 50-50 mix, 50% oxygen and 50% nitrogen, intended exclusively for shallower depths during the decompression phase. The tanks were labeled with their gas contents clearly marked on white tape wrapped around each cylinder. McGuirre had taken several Sudafed tablets before arriving at the dive site that morning. His sinuses had been bothering him for days, and the decongestant was meant to help him equalize pressure during descent, a common practice among divers dealing with congestion.
See, sometimes your body's gonna give you some cues now. Your body's gonna give you a cue. You need this to breathe now. You need this to breathe. You're underwater. Some things you gotta take serious. I don't want no congestive. If I wake up and I have my nose is out. Okay. This ain't too crazy. I'm not wishing for nothing crazy now. Look, this is my first time doing this. I'm usually playing a video game. We're not usually watching nothing. Just give me a second. I got some commentary. Give me a second. I don't know what's about to happen. We're both here.
The water at Thunderhole's entrance was cool and inviting. The cave system was well known among Florida's technical diving community. McGuirre and Motes entered the water together shortly after 10 in the morning. The descent began smoothly through crystal clear water. The divers dropped through the water column at a controlled rate. Visibility was excellent that day, perhaps 100 feet or more, and the familiar formations guided them deeper into the system.
That's some clear water.
At 70 feet, they reached their first planned waypoint. The cave passage opened into a larger room here, a natural gathering point that many divers used as a staging area. This was where McGuirre should have switched to his deeper mix and secured the 50-50 tank at this depth for later use during decompression. The 50-50 mixture with its high oxygen content was perfect for shallow stops between 20 and 70 feet, where it would accelerate nitrogen elimination from body tissues without creating oxygen toxicity. Standard procedure called for leaving this tank here, marked with a light or line, ready for pickup on the return journey.
Both.
But somehow, in the routine of the dive and the distraction of the stunning cave environment, the switch never happened correctly.
No, the stunning my tail. You know where you are. You know where you are. You should never get too distracted. You don't ever get too distracted. Oh, it's so beautiful out here. It's so beautiful. What do you mean? It's so beautiful that you forgot to check your tank? To switch your tank? No, see, you gotta be scared. You have to have some level of fear in you. You have to have some level of like, this can go left. The switch wasn't made. The switch wasn't made. The switch wasn't made.
Perhaps McGuirre became disoriented in the moment, or maybe the Sudafed was affecting his mental clarity more than he realized.
Hold on, what did it say? What did it say?
Or maybe the
unblocks Sudafed. Non-drowsy. Oh, okay. I was finna say, does it make you drowsy? Non-drowsy. Do you? I don't trust medicine that says non-drowsy. That's like you trying to take some Benadryl I ain't took no medicine in a minute. I done forgot what they call it. I'm sorry. Don't make fun of me. What? You mad at me because I ain't took no Tylenol in a minute? Leave me alone. Calm down. Chill. I don't know the name. I'm gonna automatically assume. Okay, I think you supposed to take me out. I'm supposed to be asleep. If your nose is congested, you don't want to do nothing. He's off the pill.
Sudafed was affecting his mental clarity more than he realized. Whatever the reason, he continued his descent with the wrong tank, carrying the 50-50 mix deeper into the cave system, while the appropriate deeper mixture, the one designed for high-pressure depths, remained clipped to his harness, unused or perhaps left behind at 70 feet, waiting uselessly for a diver who had already passed it by. Moats, swimming nearby,
Ooh, he had to say that.
Had no reason to question his partner's gas management. Each diver was responsible for their own gas selection and switching procedures. The buddy system in technical diving assumes that each diver maintains their own protocols while providing backup for emergencies.
That's so dangerous, though. If I don't want to, I do. I don't even know what to say. These situations, I'm always looking back. I'm always like, yo, you good back there? Especially if we're in this situation, I'm gonna be too nervous. I'm a nervous person, not jittery nervous. I'm not out here crazy. I'm too nervous to do stuff like this, where it's like, well, it's my responsibility. Obviously, if you go past this line, that's your tail. If I don't have to be in control of my life like that, I don't want to be. The air is already out here. Why am I in control of my own air supply like this? I don't want to have to turn no valves and have to remind myself, hey, let me make sure my oxygen tank is squared away so I don't die. Like, I feel like I can get a thrill out of life without having to. We got oxygen out here. I'm good out here. And he's already, see, this ain't going right. He's congested. He left his tank in the density one. He's going into a high density. He left his tank, high density. We back in. Y'all all right? This something new, I know. We good. Love y'all. Subscribe, like. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay.
There was no way for Moats to know that McGuirre was breathing the wrong mixture as they descended together into the depths.
Yep.
They continued downward through increasingly narrow passages. The cave walls closed in around them as they followed the natural contours of the limestone. The pressure increased steadily with every meter of descent, squeezing their wetsuits tighter against their bodies and compressing the air in their tanks. At 140 feet, nearly 43 meters below the surface, they reached their planned maximum depth. The cave passage here was spectacular, a tunnel carved by ancient underground rivers that had long since vanished.
I bet.
The temperature had dropped noticeably, and the pressure at this depth was approximately 5.3 atmospheres, more than 5 times the pressure at sea level.
Thank you.
Every gas breathed at this depth was compressed to that same pressure, including the oxygen molecules flowing into McGuirre's lungs with each breath. His regulator delivered the 50-50 mix smoothly, the breathing resistance normal for this depth. Nothing felt wrong. There was no warning sign, no unusual sensation to alert him that every breath was bringing him closer to disaster. And
yeah, you don't know. You don't know. You literally have to go off of, because it's not going to taste different. It's oxygen. You're just mixing oxygen. But you're not going to know if it's going to taste like what's different and what's not. You have to look at the tanks. That's why you can't get distracted by the beauties of the walls of the water. He had no way of knowing. He should have stayed in bed.
The 50-50 mix that was safe and even beneficial at 70 feet had become a deadly poison at 140 feet. The partial pressure of oxygen in his breathing gas had climbed far beyond safe limits.
This may be the last ad you ever see.
Reaching levels that would cause oxygen toxicity. A condition where oxygen itself a condition where oxygen itself becomes toxic to the human central nervous system.
That's like if you drink too much water, you can drown. Too much of something.
That's because at 70 feet, the oxygen partial pressure in the 50-50 mix was manageable, approximately 1.6 atmospheres, right at the edge of accepted limits for technical diving. But at 140 feet, that same mixture created an oxygen partial pressure exceeding 2.6 atmospheres, well into the danger zone, where oxygen attacks the brain and nervous system like a poison. Oxygen toxicity is one of diving's most insidious dangers. The body's tissues, particularly the brain and nervous system, react violently to excessive oxygen pressure. Brain cells begin firing erratically, overwhelmed by the chemical imbalance. There are rarely any warning signs, no gradual onset of symptoms, no tingling or strange sensations, no time to recognize the danger and respond appropriately. McGuirre and Motes spent approximately 15 minutes at maximum depth, exploring.
Hold on. That's what I was just talking about. You're not gonna notice, because if you do taste it, that means your tank has been off. And then by the time, this is another one I saw. It was of this guy. He found the body of another cave diver, and when he was going to retrieve it, his body, like his tank or something, it stopped working. And he was shaking and was trying to get through, but it was too late. No way. That's terrifying. There is no way of knowing. Okay.
Depth. Exploring the passage and checking their dive computers regularly. Everything seemed normal. Both divers' lights played across the cave walls as they made mental notes of the features they would report to other divers later. Then they began the long ascent. This was when the dive plan called for careful decompression stops at various depths, allowing dissolved nitrogen to safely leave their tissues without forming dangerous bubbles in their bloodstream.
He don't got it.
The ascent proceeded according to plan initially, both divers rising slowly through the water column while controlling their buoyancy precisely. They rose through the water, making their required stops at predetermined depths. At each stop, they hovered motionless in the water for the calculated time, watching their dive computers count down the minutes.
Okay, when is he gonna notice?
As they approached shallower depths, the oxygen partial pressure in McGuirre's breathing gas was decreasing as the surrounding pressure decreased, but the damage may have already been done during the time at maximum depth. They were somewhere around 70 feet, perhaps beginning their decompression sequence, when everything went catastrophically wrong. Without any warning whatsoever, McGuirre's body went completely rigid in the water. His regulator fell from his mouth as violent convulsions seized his entire frame. His arms jerked wildly in uncontrolled spasms. His legs kicked in random directions. And bubbles exploded from his mouth as water rushed in to fill his lungs. The oxygen toxicity had triggered a grand mal seizure. The most feared and most deadly consequence of breathing too much oxygen under pressure.
You lost
Mote
it.
spun around at the sudden commotion.
Grab him!
His light catching his friend's convulsing body. Horror
There's
and
nothing!
disbelief flooded through him as he watched McGuirre thrashing uncontrollably in the water. He lunged forward immediately, reaching for his friend.
What can he
trying
do?
desperately to stabilize him and get the regulator back into his mouth.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Oxygen toxicity seizures are nearly impossible to manage underwater.
Oh.
The violent convulsions made it impossible for McGuirre to hold anything, including his regulator. His jaw was clenched tight, then slack, then clenching again in rapid succession. Water flooded into McGuirre's lungs with each involuntary gasp, every muscle firing at random as his nervous system short-circuited under the toxic effects of too much oxygen.
Stop it right now. There's nothing he can
trying
do.
To force the regulator back in, trying somehow to reverse what was happening before his eyes. But some things cannot be stopped once they begin. The convulsions continued for what seemed like an eternity, but was probably less than a minute. McGuirre's movements gradually weakened as his lungs filled with water and oxygen deprivation claimed his brain. Moats held his friend's body, still trying futilely to help, even as he knew it was already too late. The thrashing stopped. McGuirre went limp in the water, his body now just dead weight in Moats' arms. There were no other divers present in the cave system that day. No one waited on the surface providing backup support or monitoring dive times. The two men had entered Thunderhole alone, following a practice that was common but always risky. Now, Moats faced the nightmare scenario every dive buddy fears. His partner was dead, and he was alone at depth with his own decompression obligations still unfulfilled.
That's what I was about to say. Oh my God, he's helping his friend. He's helping his friend out, but what if his friend... Oh, that's a dangerous situation. That is so dangerous. That's so dangerous. Like, you're trying to help. And then what if the person reaches for you? Because there was a video. Sorry, I told you I was watching these cave divers. I was watching them. They went down into a cave and he got stuck. But his friend went before him. So his friend was stuck. And the man was dead. The man was gone. Sorry, I don't know if I could say that. I've been scrolling through TikTok too much, so I don't know. I'm not saying unalive every sentence. I'm not doing that. I press not made for kids, but don't block it from kids. I'm not gonna say unalive every sentence. That man went to glory. And his friend was stuck. And I cut it off.
Oh my God, bro. Oh hell no, man.
So we're gonna finish these. I'm not this isn't a pattern. We're gonna finish. We're gonna finish. Y'all good? Oh my God, this is nuts.
Moats had to make an impossible choice. He could not bring McGuirre's body up immediately without risking his own life to decompression sickness. He secured his friend's body as best he could and completed his own decompression stops, each minute an agony of grief and shock.
Oh my God.
When he finally surfaced hours later, alone and devastated,
imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
The full weight of what had happened crashed down on him. His friend had died from a simple mistake. The wrong tank at the wrong depth. The 50-50 mix that should have been left at 70 feet.
Paused it. Sorry. Right here, I'm doing searches. Stop. I'm checking you. I don't care if you're annoyed by me. I don't care if you get annoyed.
Had traveled to 140 feet, and the oxygen that gives life had become the poison that took it. The unmarked depth limits, the Sudafed tablets, the moment of confusion that led to the fatal gas selection. All of it combined into a tragedy that could never be undone. On January 5th, 2023,
that's it?
An experienced diver descended...
Oh! Condolences to him and his family. That brother moved on. He struck you with the good speech and got up out of there. He hit you in the fields and dipped, huh? He said, moving on.
On January 5th, 2023, an experienced diver descended into the waters off the coast of Mexico.
And one?
For what should have been a routine day of harvesting shellfish.
By yourself?
Tilbury Bay sits along the coast of Sonora, Mexico, in the Gulf of California. A body of water that's sometimes called the aquarium of the world because of its incredible marine biodiversity, from tiny plankton to massive whales and everything in between. For local fishermen, these waters represent their livelihood, providing abundant catches of fish, shellfish, and other valuable marine resources.
Yummy food, yummy food. Yummy, yummy, yummy food. I do like the water. I enjoy the water completely, and I do want to go scuba diving. Pero I don't want to go there are depths. There's levels to this. There's things beyond my reach. I can't. I'm not supposed to be down here. So I don't have gills. I'm hooked up to stuff. Just let me explore. Let me be nosy for a little bit. Let me be a little nosy. I don't need to know all that. I'm in your business. Sorry. The ocean's beautiful. That's not one thing I'm not saying the ocean's not beautiful, but go on, pass me the mussels. Pass me the mussels. Ha! Pass me that seafood. Pass me that seafood. Pass me that seafood.
Manuel Nieblas Lopez was 53 years old in January 2023, and he was about as experienced as divers get in this part of Mexico. He had spent decades working these waters, diving to depths that would make most recreational divers uncomfortable, and harvesting various species of shellfish that were prized in local and international markets. Lopez wasn't some weekend hobbyist. He was a professional who understood the ocean, respected its dangers, and had survived countless dives without
That's pretty. Look at the quality of this picture. Wow.
serious incident. On this particular morning, Lopez was part of a small crew that had set out to harvest calo de hacha, axe scallops, a valuable mollusk that's commonly collected throughout the Gulf of California. Lopez was using a surface-supplied air system for this dive, which is significantly different from the scuba tanks that most people are familiar with. Instead of carrying compressed air on his back, Lopez was connected to the surface vessel by a long air hose that provided him with a continuous supply of breathing gas.
That's cool!
This system allowed him to stay underwater for extended periods without worrying about running out of air. He could work for hours at a time, as long as the compressor on the boat kept running. The plan for the day was straightforward. Lopez would descend to the seafloor, somewhere between 11 and 18 meters, 36 to 59 feet.
I ain't never heard of that before. Or it's just a continuous... You're a fish!
Deep, and systematically harvest the axe scallops he found. His companions would remain on the support vessel above, managing his air supply, monitoring his progress through the air hose, and helping him load his harvest when he surfaced. The visibility was relatively murky.
But this
Make custom math worksheets in seconds. Select the topics to include.
Were less than ideal.
There you go. It was less than ideal. I was gonna say something about him not having to do this for the day, but that's his job. He do this. Dang, dude. What's gonna happen to you?
The visibility was relatively murky. Not terrible, but not the crystal clear water that makes diving pleasant and safe. In murky water, it's harder to see potential dangers approaching, but he kept on descending towards his goal. Lopez was working near the seafloor, moving among schools of fish as he searched for scallops to harvest. He was wearing a black wetsuit, standard equipment for divers working in these waters, and his movements through the water created vibrations and disturbances that any nearby predators could detect from considerable distances.
Okay, don't say that.
What Lopez and
it's him. It's him.
What Lopez and his crew didn't know was that they weren't alone in Tilbury Bay that morning. Somewhere in the murky waters below, a massive great white shark was cruising through the area. This particular shark was enormous, estimated to be about 6 meters or 19 feet long, which is close to the maximum size that great white sharks typically reach. To put that in perspective, a 19-foot great white shark weighs somewhere around 2,000 to 2,500 pounds and has a mouth full of serrated teeth that can exert bite forces of up to 4,000 pounds per square inch. These are apex predators that have been perfecting their hunting techniques for millions of years.
He's a little cute.
And they're capable of killing large prey with a single bite. What happened next occurred so quickly that Lopez probably never knew what hit him. The great white shark attacked with the explosive speed and power that makes these predators so terrifying.
No!
Great whites don't slowly circle their prey like in the movies. When they attack, they come from below at incredible velocity, using the element of surprise to ensure their prey has no chance to escape or defend itself. The shark struck Lopez with immense force, its jaws closing around his upper body in a single, catastrophic bite. The impact was so violent and the bite so powerful that it instantly decapitated Lopez and inflicted massive trauma to his shoulders and upper torso. This wasn't a test bite or an exploratory nibble. This was a full predatory strike from one of the ocean's most powerful predators.
He was going... That means he was going after him. Don't sharks stalk their prey? They don't just run up on them. So he was watching him. Like dude said, that was predatory. He was like, yeah, this is This is the kill shot. This is the shot where I'm about to take you out. So the whole time Lopez was in the ocean just minding his business. He was being watched that whole time. Yeah, what y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do?
The crew members on the support vessel above had no warning that anything was wrong. One moment they were monitoring Lopez's dive through the air hose, and the next moment they felt unusual tension or movement in the line.
Pull him up.
They immediately began pulling Lopez back to the surface, probably thinking he had encountered some problem with his equipment or had gotten tangled in something on the seafloor. When they pulled Lopez's body to the surface, the scene that greeted them was something out of a nightmare. Their experienced colleague and friend had been essentially destroyed by the shark attack.
Like
The
that.
decapitation and massive injuries to his upper body made it immediately clear that he was dead, and that his death had been instantaneous. The entire attack had unfolded in a matter of seconds. From the moment the shark struck to the moment Lopez died was probably less than 5 seconds. Possibly even less than 2 seconds. There was no prolonged struggle, no opportunity to fight back or escape. The great white shark had done what millions of years of evolution had designed it to do: identify prey, attack with overwhelming force, and kill instantly. The trauma was so severe that even if medical personnel had been standing by, Lopez's injuries were instantly fatal. Lopez's injuries were consistent with a single predatory bite from a large great white shark. This is actually relatively rare. Most shark attacks on humans are cases of mistaken identity where the shark takes a single exploratory bite and then leaves. But in this case, the shark's bite was so powerful and so well placed that a single strike was sufficient to cause fatal injuries. Here's where the tragic circumstances of this attack become clear.
Okay, hold on. Before they get into it, I want to say my piece. Are they trying to say that the shark knew? Like this shark was aware of humans? And so it knew where to bite? That's not over our heads. Like that could genuinely happen. Like animals aren't stupid. They've evolved to not like us.
From below, Lopez would have presented a very specific silhouette against the lighter water above, a dark, roughly seal-shaped object, moving through the water in an area where the great white shark was hunting. Sea lions are one of the great white's preferred prey species in this region.
He's going for you!
And sharks have evolved to recognize and target that particular shape and movement pattern. The murky water conditions that morning would have made it difficult for the shark to distinguish between a human diver and its natural prey, until it was too close to abort the attack, potentially creating vibrations or movements in the water that could attract predatory.
Okay, no, I am pausing it. I had something to say. He also didn't have no gear on. He had no gear on. So it's like he was literally he was in a black little leather suit, swimming around on the bottom of the ocean.
Marine biologists noted that there had been reports of increased shark presence in the area, possibly linked to seasonal migrations and warmer water temperatures that were affecting marine animal distributions throughout the Gulf of California. For Lopez's family, the loss was devastating. He was an experienced professional who had spent his entire adult life working in these waters without serious incident. He understood the risks of his profession and took appropriate precautions. But sometimes, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, when a large predator mistakes you for its natural prey, is a risk that no amount of experience or precaution can completely eliminate.
I know that's right. Huh. So the shark did not mean to attack him. This is what I was talking about. But this is underwater, and the ones that I was watching were cave diving. Where it's like cave explorations, or like you call them cave divers or whatever they want to call themselves. I wanted to let y'all in on what I was doing. Getting my house in order. Just getting my house in order, and this is what I was watching and I had on all throughout that time. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I really do. Got to talk a little more. There was no decisions that we had to make. The decisions were already made. So it was I don't know if that was tasteless. I'm sorry. Thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe if you did enjoy. I enjoyed myself and I hope you did too. I don't even think I want to say that title, honestly. This diver had the most gruesome end. There you go, y'all. There you go. I love you. Good night, good morning. Y'all have a good nap. I'll be doing more of these. I will. Goodbye.
Hello, Mojo. Hello, Mojo.